नमस्कार मंडळी, मी आकांक्षा कुलकर्णी, CEO वास्तू आरोग्य. आज माझ्याबरोबर लोकशाहीच्या लोक लाईव्ह चॅनलवरती आहे लुशिया पेट्रोनी. लुशिया पेट्रोनी ही माझी असोसिएट आहे, वास्तू आरोग्यमची असोसिएट म्हणून इटलीमध्ये कार्यरत आहेत. त्याचबरोबर त्या कॉन्फ्लिक्ट काउन्सिलरसुद्धा आहेत. त्यांनी वास्तुशास्त्रामध्ये शिक्षण घेतलं आहे. त्याचबरोबर त्यांची मास्टरी आहे सिस्टॅमिक जस्टिस या विषयामध्ये. तर या लोकशाहीच्या लोक लाईव्ह चॅनलवरती मी आज त्यांचं स्वागत करते. सो हॅलो लुशिया, वेलकम अँड a good morning to you. So we have been working together for a long time now. We know each other very well. So I thought that we should have a conversation. So I feel that our conversation should be benefited to the viewers of Lok Life channel. So let's start. I would ask you that Vastu Shastra is considered as an Indian ancient science of architecture. Many people look at this science as an Indian science, which is applicable to the Indians, to the Indian spaces. How do you develop your interest in this subject?
First of all, thank you for the invitation, for being here. And well, I would say that in my personal experience, I always had an interest in the energy of the space. I always felt since I was a little girl that in some places I was living with more joy, in some places I was more stressed, even though nothing special had happened. And I had no clue about that. And growing up, I went through some journeys, personal inner journeys, and India was a special place for me, for the culture, for the tradition, for the spirituality. So I went deeper and deeper, and while learning a lot about your amazing ancient culture, I learned about also the energy and the vision of the energy, also not only of the people but also of the places. So while doing some studies, I did some studies in Feng Shui, so in even the other cultural vision of spaces, but I felt that the vision of the Indian culture with this attention to consciousness was very, very resonating with me and with people's lives. So I had the opportunity to get some connection and to finally get to you because I needed to find someone reliable, some professionals, and I really wanted to proceed just in that way.
So that's great that we found each other.
Yes.
And yes, Vastu Shastra has a lot of in it for the energy of spaces. It is definitely. So being from a Western region to India, like Western country to India, being Italian, how do you look at the Vastu science or the Vastu Shastra?
Well, being here and visiting you has been very important to reinforce something that was already an intuition and we already talked about. I think that even though it's an Indian science, but it speaks like a universal language. It's something that is valid all over the world. Of course, we didn't develop so much as Western country in this direction throughout the years. But if I go back to the ancient building architecture back in Italy, there is something that is a lot connected with the main principles that you find in Vastu Shastra. So you need to re-educate people for both visions, the architecture from a different point of view, the aesthetic from a different point of view, and also the consciousness of the space and the energy, so the invisible part. So this is something that I'm happy to do and to contribute in doing to my country with this great connection with you.
So you can enlighten a bit on, do you feel that Vastu science or Vastu Shastra has geographical boundaries?
Actually, I don't feel so. Because it's, energy doesn't have boundaries, it's everywhere. So it's a science that is valid, has been valid throughout millennials and throughout any areas of the planet. So I think it's really universal, and there is the need maybe to address it in a way that our culture may understand better. So using a specific communication, and this is the bridge that we need to take.
Yes.
Yeah.
So definitely a communication bridge has to be there
Yeah.
to communicate about science to the people out there in the Western countries like Italy.
Yeah.
Now, we have studied a lot many cases in Italy together. We have been working together for almost 2 years now. I would like to request you to share some of your experiences about how the people felt there after their energy balancings in the spaces, including your own Vastu.
Yes.
So let's please share the experience.
Well, I would like to highlight there are two phases that, from my experience, has been very important. Even before going into the balancing of the space, the reading, of the analysis of the actual situation of each Vastu has been already a healing part of the work. So sometimes having a consciousness of what's going on the invisible level, it's already like a wake-up call for many people. So the process is already starting when you do the first reading analysis of the Vastu. So, and this is very new for, I think maybe for our culture, because we are less inclined to pay attention to invisible parts. So, and every time when you read the invisible, you bring to surface something that is really visible, concrete, real. So that was the first, let's say, healing process. Then when we work on the rebalancing of the spaces, definitely there was a shift, a benefit, both in real life, but also in the consciousness of the people living those Vastus. So that is so interesting and important for me, because it's a process of growth, not only for the space, but also for the people living in them.
I would like you to address people globally about Vastu Arogyam and our services in Italy. What services are we offering to the people in Italy?
Okay. Well, first of all, I would like to highlight that we develop a tailor-made service in some cases that was more connected with the reality of Italy, for example. So we studied throughout these times a specific way to address and to communicate to Italian customers. And that was very important, and I really appreciated so much our way to work in a perfect team. So the services are including an initial part that can be a very essential reading of the Vastu. Especially, this is very important because for people that are approaching Vastu as the first time, sometimes they need to go step by step.
Yes.
So maybe they have a problem, they know they can address about a specific problem on their Vastu, on their houses, and we can give the first service of the reading related to that specific problem. Then we do the full analysis of the Vastu. Then we studied a custom-made, let's say, remedies, rebalancing possibilities for the Vastu, the specific Vastu. And we follow all the treatments up to the end and also the follow-up. So people are really guided, and if they have any questions, they can always ask. They always have someone to relate to. Then the other part that is very important is the webinars, seminars, workshops that we are more and more developing, and where people now is the aim of having people getting closer to this science, feel it, sense it, and having the possibility to put it in practice. And we give also some basic advices that are universally truthful, and they can already give confidence, to people.
And with the help of webinars and seminars, we can develop the awareness of the science to the, in the people there. And also we include the designing and planning of the spaces, like according to the Vastu sciences. So all these services are included in one package in Italy through Lucia. So I will request you to highlight on your future projects with Vastu Arogyam, or now may I say as Vastu Arogyam.
Thank you. Yes, I really feel being so much connected and being a family, So it's this brings also strength to the work that I bring back to Italy. So the future plans are related to keep enhancing the services that we just highlighted, and making them more and more available all over Italy. Then there is the part that is related to the training. So starting trainings also for professionals that are very close to Vastu. That means architects or engineers or all the professionals that are a lot connected, interior designers, so all the people connected to the house process. And then another possibility is that we are working on even having a type of training workshop that is related to people to dive into the science without being necessarily a professional, but to make it part of the daily life. So paying attention every time on each decisions and choices they make. So, and then I would say that we have in the near future your trip in 2024, and this will be another opportunity to work on some new designing some new projects that are coming already on the way, and we are defining better. And with your presence will be of course very special and very powerful.
Yes, definitely. Even I am looking forward to be there with you and to meet people, to guide people, and to see them happy in their lives, as this science, I personally feel, is for the well-being of mankind. लुशिया पेट्रोनीचं आपण खूप खूप धन्यवाद करूयात की त्या इथे आल्या, इतक्या लांबून आल्या आहेत आणि इथे राहून त्यांना या शास्त्राबद्दल अजून जाणून घ्यायचं होतं. त्यामुळे त्या इथे राहून हे सगळं ज्ञान त्यांनी आता घेतलं आहे. बऱ्यापैकी त्यांना ते समजलेलं आहे आणि तिथं गेल्यानंतर ते अप्लाय करणार आहेत. तर अशा लुशियाचं आय थँक यू फॉर बीइंग हिअर, फॉर कमिंग टू इंडिया. आणि तुमच्या सर्वांचं पण खूप खूप धन्यवाद. तिच्याकडनं आपल्याला आज बऱ्याचशा गोष्टी वास्तुशास्त्राबद्दल आणि बाहेर परदेशामध्ये सुद्धा आपल्या या शास्त्राची किती मान्यता आहे, किती लोक याला मानतात, हे सुद्धा आपल्याला आजच्या या संवादातून समजलं. तर तुमच्या सर्वांचं पुन्हा पुन्हा धन्यवाद. बघत रहा लोक लाईफ चॅनल. थँक्यू.